Hi friends, today I stand in front of you to talk about a very important issue that's really close to my heart. How are the employees of India being treated? We talk about India becoming the next superpower and all that good stuff. And yes, we are pretty much right and earnest in our aspirations too. But let's also admit that if and when we get there, it would be because of the employees of India. Not because of Modi ji, not because of some CEO sitting in some corner office. No. It would be our employees who will be getting the job done for us. So now how are we treating these employees? As we all know, advanced economies like the US work based on the hire and fire rule. You will be hired when your services are needed and fired on the spot when that is no longer the case. We in India think that that's too bad. We think that it's unfair to the employees. But how about in India? Are we doing any better? We in India think that our employees are protected against unfair firing practices because we have so many laws of the land, many more than we can even hope to count on our fingers. But are these laws even followed on the ground? I don't think so. That's where the US stands head and shoulders above the rest. No wonder they are such a mature economy that takes care of the interests of all the stakeholders in an equitable fashion. There, the costs of subverting the laws of the land is so prohibitive because of the swift and decisive legal system that they have built over there. But in India, the laws remain on paper and the employers arm twist their employees into signing on the dotted line and get away with murder. I have been a witness to many such occasions in the past where employees were asked to submit their resignation letters and leave the premises within an hour, their period of employment ceasing on that very same day. Your full and final settlement may happen in due course of time, but you lose all the privileges and benefits and coverages of being an employee overnight. And all this while, you were living happily ever after, thinking that you are a permanent employee on the payroll of an established company. And God forbid, if you refuse to sign that resignation letter that is shoved down your throat, you will be summarily threatened with dire consequences, including not releasing your experience certificate that shows the work that you have done and the skills that you have built. No one in their sane mind would ever think of going against your employer in such a situation where all the odds are stacked against you and your employer, for whom you have toiled all your life, is now going all out to screw you. No wonder the employees take that sucker punch in their gut and they silently sign as asked to and move on. Some recover from this horrendous setback, but some never do. One of my dear friends, Ramesh Subramanian, who was working as a project manager in a reputed company in Chennai and who was fired overnight, like I had described above, and that too during the pandemic COVID times, is no longer with us to tell his story. As we all know, COVID times is definitely not the right time to be on the street looking for a job, and to make matters worse, Ramesh himself contracted COVID within a month of losing his job. And within 2 months, he was pronounced dead in spite of his entire family trying all they can, including spending upwards of 18 lakhs to pull him back into life. When they relive those terrible days, they remember Ramesh being traumatized till the very last breath about how he was thrown out on the street by his employer and how he and his family would have been much better off if he was allowed the right by the company to serve his 2 months notice period, which the company was contractually obligated to extend to him. If only his employer had not violated the terms and conditions of their contract, Ramesh would have fought COVID in a much better frame of mind, with his capability and will to live boosted by the comfort that his prolonged sickness is not going to cause any financial hardships to his family. And even if the worst were to happen, his family would have still received insurance benefits to the tune of 1.5 crores. Today they stand with nothing, and that is simply not acceptable. For the last 100 days or so, we've been fighting hard to bring justice to Ramesh's family. We've been fighting hard to make sure that no one is ever again put in Ramesh's shoes in corporate India. The Union Labour Ministry has been very supportive in directing the company to settle this issue positively via an email sent to their legal and HR departments. But the company has shown the nerve to totally sidestep this and send threatening legal notices to the bereaved family. We cannot let it go on like this. We want to live in an India that takes care of its employees. When the stock market is soaring and the companies are laughing all the way to the banks, they may be taking care of their star performers all right. But that is not what we mean when we talk about human-centric leadership. We want to live in an India where companies are known by the way they treat all their employees, especially when those employees are at their weakest and most vulnerable point. Like I was saying earlier, I myself have been a silent witness to such gross injustices when I was part of the corporates myself. And at that time, I did not know how to respond. I did not know what to do because I myself was bound by my need to stay employed, have a good career, lead a decent life. But now that I have already come out of the proverbial yokes of employment, I believe I can make a difference. I believe I can lead the change. Even mainstream media houses like NDTV have come out in support of our campaign and have written about our battle on their front page. Please find the link in the description given below, and I request each and every one of you to share our message. This is not a corporate battle. This is a political, social, financial, even a spiritual change that we are leading in our society. If you have ever been an employee in your life, this is a battle we are fighting for you when you are at your weakest, most vulnerable point. If you are a proud Indian, this is a battle we are fighting for you because India cannot be world beaters if our organizations are trying to scuttle our legal and judicial systems and trying to screw over our own employees. Especially important with all the labor reforms that are coming down the pike, where we have to build the trust the employees and general public has that our systems will work the way they are designed to. We have a meeting coming up with the Deputy Labour Commissioner of Chennai next week, where we look to take this battle to the next level. And with the support of all of you, I am sure the ultimate victory will be ours. Please take this opportunity to voice your opinion as well on social media on this very important topic. Ramesh is not with us to thank all of you for your generous support, but I leave you with a bhajan that he melodiously sang, wishing and praying for our world to become a better place.
பாசத்துடன் நெடும் பாறை தடுத்து நீர் பயந்திட செய்யவில்லையா பாசத்துடன் நெடும் பாறை தடுத்து நீர் பயந்திட செய்யவில்லையா பயந்திட செய்யவில்லையா பம்பா நதிக்கு உபரிவும் பார்வஷ்யராம் பக்தரை காக்கவில்லையா பக்தரை காக்கவில்லையா காக்கவில்லையா பக்தரை காக்கவில்லையா ஆசை அளவில்லாமலே சைல வீதியில் அந்தணர் அவலை வாங்கி சைல வீதியில் அந்தணர் அவலை வாங்கி ஆரை கடத்தி சுமடெத்தும் அத்தாழமுண்டு அனுதினம் பூஜிப்பதும் மேலவாசல் பிரதானி மேலவாசல் பிரதானி என் பரிபூரணானந்தனே, பரிபூரணானந்தனே, பரிபூரணானந்தனே. என் பண்பாடறிந்து உன் கண் பார்த்து இறங்குவாய், 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 இறங்குவாய். என் பண்பாடறிந்து நீர் உன் கண் பார்த்து இறங்குவாய். கவி பலது பாடினேனே, கவி பலது பாடினேனே, கவி பலது பாடினேனே. தேசம் புகழ்ந்த மணிதாச குலவரதனாம் தேவனே, தேசம் புகழ்ந்த மணிதாச குலவரதனாம் தேவனே, தேவனே, தேவனே. பூதநாதா திருமால்ஹரன் பெற்ற செல்வகுமாரனே, ஜெய வீரமணிகண்டனே, ஜெய வீரமணிகண்டனே, ஜெய வீரமணிகண்டனே, மணிகண்டனே.